Typhoon Yagi. 한국은 분명 너에게 새로운 영감을 줄 거야.
이런 한국, 와보지 않고는 모를걸?
Coming up on Arirang News, mass travel across the country starts this evening as Chuseok, Korea's Thanksgiving holiday begins tomorrow. We bring you live coverage from one of South Korea's busiest transportation hubs, Seoul Station. North Korea has for the first time publicly disclosed its uranium enrichment facility, where leader Kim Jong-un called for the enhancement of the regime's nuclear capabilities. The crew of SpaceX Polaris Dawn mission made history on Thursday by becoming the first private civilians to do a spacewalk. Good evening. It's 9 p.m. here in Seoul. Thank you for joining us on Arirang News. I'm Kim Bo-kyung. On the eve of a 5-day Chuseok holiday this year, transport hubs are busier than usual as many people start traveling to visit their loved ones or are setting off on vacations. Let's go live to our correspondent Yoon standing by at one of the country's busiest transport hubs. Yoon, where are you and what's it like there?
Yes, Bo-kyung, I'm at Seoul Station and I'm seeing more people now compared to a few hours ago as they're here to catch trains after finishing work or school. That's because, as you mentioned, the Chuseok holiday begins tomorrow. This means that mass travel across the country started tonight, so I'm here to show you a glimpse of what it's like. The last train leaves at around 11:30 p.m., so there are still a couple of hours left. Chuseok, along with Lunar New Year, is one of South Korea's two major holidays. During this time, millions of people travel across the country or even abroad. Also known as Hangawi, Chuseok is the Korean version of Thanksgiving. This year, the holiday period is from September 16th to 18th, and with the weekend before it, the break stretches to 5 days. It's definitely a time that leads to some of the biggest crowds of the year, affecting train stations, roads, and highways, as many people travel outside of the capital city, Seoul. The Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport expects approximately 37 million people to be on the move between today and Wednesday, which is the last day of the holiday. The total number of travelers has actually decreased by over 9%, but the average daily travel numbers have increased by nearly 6% compared to last year, likely due to the shorter holiday. Let's listen to what some of the travelers had to say.
I came from Busan to finish my work, field work, and I'm heading to Wonju to meet my family. I and my family go to Hanam to visit my parents' house to enjoy the Chuseok.
I live in Moko, and for Chuseok, I come to Seoul for stay with my best friend in your house and make a good food and bring something and take a special moment with him.
It's the holiday, so I will meet my family and friends. During the holidays, buses and cars take a long time due to traffic and trains are faster, so I decided to take the train to go see my family more quickly.
It certainly looks busy, Yoon. What are some tips for those planning to travel over the holiday?
But the best advice would be to avoid traveling Tuesday, which is the actual day of Chuseok. Tomorrow is the start of the holiday period, but the Chuseok day itself falls on Tuesday and is expected to be the busiest travel day. The Korea Travel Institute predicts the overall peak in terms of the number of travelers to be around 6.9 million. More than 88% of travelers are expected to travel by car. In the busiest hours, travel times could be much longer than usual. On the return journey from Busan back to Seoul, usually on the day following Chuseok, Wednesday, most preferred the afternoon hours, so traffic congestion is likely to be severe at that time. Coming back to Seoul from Busan could take more than 10 hours. To minimize inconvenience, the government has designated today through next Wednesday as a period for special transportation measures for Chuseok. Key measures include waiving highway toll fees for all vehicles for 4 days starting Sunday and expanding the capacity of public transport, including buses, trains, airplanes, and ships. Buses and rail services will increase trips and seats by more than 10% compared to the non-holiday period. Additional measures include installing temporary restrooms at highway rest areas for improved convenience and adding firefighting equipment for electric vehicle fires to ensure safety. On the last 2 days of the holiday period, Seoul's subway and buses will run later into the night than usual. That's all I have for you. Bokyung, happy Chuseok to you and everyone.
Our Yoon live from Seoul Station. Thank you, Yoon, and happy Chuseok. Starting from today, patients in non-emergency situations will have to pay more if they visit emergency medical centers at large hospitals. An Sung-jin explains.
From now on, people will have to pay more for a visit to general hospital-level emergency medical centers. Starting from Friday, those who are mildly ill or in non-emergency situations will be paying 90% of their treatment costs, which was originally at 50 to 60%. This is according to the Health Ministry, which stated that it will enforce a partial revision of the National Health Insurance Act starting Friday. For example, if a person with a mild illness, such as a cold or an upset stomach, uses an emergency room at a regional emergency medical center or a regional external trauma center, the cost they'll pay will rise from 130,000 to 220,000 won, roughly $98 to $165. The government stated that this is mostly to prevent overcrowding in emergency rooms and to efficiently deploy limited medical resources, so that people in emergency situations can receive treatment promptly.
Regional emergency medical centers have the facilities and equipment equivalent to or higher than general hospitals, so they are suitable for treating severely ill patients. Those with relatively less severe illnesses should use smaller emergency rooms or clinics. That's why we implemented this regulation.
The Health Ministry also emphasizes that when visiting a regular regional hospital or clinic, there is no change to the costs. Only when mildly ill patients visit one of the 44 general hospital-level regional emergency medical centers. The official also added that for moderate illnesses, the quality of service may be much better at local hospitals rather than higher-level hospitals and emergency medical centers. However, some raise concerns that if the burden of medical costs increases without any alternative, those who are financially vulnerable may not be able to receive the care they need. An Sung-jin, Arirang News.
Amid the medical conflict, the launch of a joint consultative body comprising the rival political parties, the government, and representatives of doctors' organizations to prevent potential disruptions in the medical system seems unlikely before the Chuseok holiday. On Friday, the doctors, including the Korean Medical Association, announced they would not join the talks, citing the government's unchanged stance on the ongoing medical dispute. The ruling People Power Party has been working to bring doctors to the negotiating table, but they remained reluctant after the government rejected the request to scrap its plan to increase next year's medical school quota. Following the announcement, the PPP again asked the doctors to participate. As short-staffed emergency rooms gear up for the Chuseok holiday, President Yoon on Friday visited an emergency room and requested that doctors do not misunderstand the government's intention to raise the number of doctors. According to a written statement from the top office, President Yoon hosted a roundtable discussion with doctors and asked them to trust that he will improve their working conditions. He also added the plan is a long-term one, made according to scientific data. He also visited the National Emergency Medical Center, a control tower for nationwide emergency rooms. There, he encouraged and thanked the staff. He also said that the medical reform was initiated out of a sense of urgency, with the system unsustainable as it relies on the overwork of essential medical staff. South Korea will offer COVID-19 vaccinations starting next month. The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency announced on Friday that the vaccinations will be first delivered to individuals aged 75 and above, starting on October 11th. Vaccinations will be free for high-risk groups, including those aged 65 and above, with the cost for everyone else to be determined in early October. The KDCA added that despite the downward trend in COVID cases for 3 straight weeks, starting the week of August 18th, individuals are advised to follow virus guidelines during the Chuseok holiday. Shifting gears a bit, the finance ministry believes the country's economy is continuing to show signs of recovery thanks to robust trading. Park Gun-woo has the details.
Domestic demand is showing signs of recovery for the fifth straight month in September. That's according to the latest Economic Green Book, a monthly economic assessment report released by the finance ministry on Friday. But it's also the second consecutive month the government used the expression gradually to reflect the GDP growth rate for the second quarter, which dropped on quarter. The Green Book says that domestic demand is recovering differently by sector, and that facility investment and the service industry in particular are recovering. But retail sales dropped by nearly 2% on month in July, while the index showing performance in the construction sector dropped by 1.7%.
We'll be able to take out the expression showing signs of recovery when retail sales and construction investment increases, as they're all components of domestic demand.
While mentioning a boost in private consumption is essential for a recovery, one expert spoke about uncertainties.
When the domestic consumption begins to pick up, I think it could have a positive effect upon Korean economy. That, I think, depends pretty much upon the interest rate, how much and how fast interest rate will come down in Korea.
The finance ministry also points out that recent steady export performances have contributed to the economy showing signs of recovery. Exports saw a rise of over 11% on year in August, mainly due to strong chip shipments. Consumer prices have been stabilizing with inflation last month down to 2% on year due to a drop in international oil prices and the release of newly harvested fruits. The government said it would do its best to keep stabilizing consumer prices and supporting small businesses before the Chuseok holiday. The Green Book also shows that the global economy has been recovering recently due to better trading conditions and changes in monetary policies. And it said geopolitical risks caused by the Russia-Ukraine war and tensions in the Middle East are still factors causing instability. Park Gun-woo, Arirang News.
North Korea has, for the first time, publicly revealed a uranium enrichment facility as its leader Kim Jong-un ordered the ramping up of the regime's nuclear capabilities. The South was quick to lash out. Moon reports.
North Korea showed its uranium enrichment facility for the first time as leader Kim Jong-un took a tour of the site and urged further nuclear weapons development. Photos released by the state-run Korean Central News Agency on Friday showed Kim walking past rows of centrifuges that process uranium to be made into nuclear fuel, learning about the operation of its production lines. Kim reportedly said he felt strong just looking at the technology on display and pressed for the need to strengthen Pyongyang's nuclear capabilities. He also outlined a long-term plan to do so. Experts say that the surprise disclosure could serve a number of different purposes for the regime.
Firstly, Kim Jong-un seeks to demonstrate through concrete actions that his recent statement about exponentially increasing nuclear weapons was not merely rhetoric. Second, the regime aims to convey that North Korea is prepared to counter any nuclear threat with its own nuclear force regardless of who becomes the next U.S. president in the upcoming election.
The KCNA did not reveal when the visit occurred or the location of the facility. South Korea and U.S. intelligence authorities believe that North Korea has uranium enrichment facilities in Yangbyon, North Pyongan province, and in the Kangsan complex near Pyongyang. In a briefing on Friday, Seoul's Unification Ministry addressed the KCNA report.
The government strongly condemns North Korea for revealing its uranium enrichment facility and its intent to accelerate its nuclear capabilities and produce material for tactical nuclear weapons. North Korea must understand that neither South Korea nor the international community will ever accept its possession of nuclear weapons under any circumstances.
The spokesperson added that any nuclear threat or provocation from North Korea will face a strong response from South Korea and the US, based on the robust alliance and extended deterrence system. Moon, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, Russia's top security official met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on Friday. According to Russia's state-owned news agency TASS, Russian Security Council Chief Sergei Shoigu visited Pyongyang, where he held talks with Kim on a wide variety of issues at bilateral and global levels. The visit comes at a time when military ties between Pyongyang and Moscow are growing stronger amid the war in Ukraine. Russia's Security Council said in a statement that the meetings took place in an exceptionally trusting, friendly atmosphere, and that it would aid in carrying out the agreements made between Kim and Putin at their summit in June. Russia has reportedly retaken 10 settlements from Ukrainian forces in the border region of Kursk. Its President Vladimir Putin says if Western countries allow Ukraine to use long-range missiles, it would mean a fight against Russia. Kim Jong-un has more.
You're looking at a recent video released by Russia's Ministry of Defense. In the footage, pontoon crossings are built on a river and Russian military forces are crossing the river using the bridging equipment. At the same time, Russia's defense ministry said Thursday local time that it had recaptured 10 settlements from Ukrainian forces in the Kursk region. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed the announcement, adding that it had been expected.
Russians have started counteroffensive actions. It is going according to our plan.
Russia has intensified its offensive towards mainland Ukraine as well. According to Ukrainian officials, Russian shelling on Thursday killed 3 Ukrainians working for the International Committee of the Red Cross in a village in the frontline region of Donetsk. Russian drone attacks on the northern Ukrainian town of Konotop's energy infrastructure injured at least 14 people. Ukraine has also accused Russia of carrying out missile attacks on a civilian vessel in the Black Sea. The vessel was reportedly carrying grain from Ukraine to Egypt. President Zelensky has been urging his Western allies to allow Ukraine to use long-range missiles to hit targets inside Russia. The US and UK will likely give a response soon, with Russian President Vladimir Putin already issuing a warning against it.
If this decision is made, it will mean nothing less than the direct participation of NATO countries, the United States, and European countries in the war in Ukraine.
He added that the decision would significantly change the very essence of the conflict and warned that Russia would respond appropriately to the threats against the country. Kim Jong-un, Arirang News.
In other news, a private crew has made history by becoming the world's first civilians to perform a spacewalk. Led by a SpaceX mission, a billionaire from the U.S. acted as mission commander for the team, getting closer to realizing the human race's long-term dream of populating another planet. Tae-young reports.
The door to the Crew Dragon capsule opens slowly. Then, as the astronaut steps outside, planet Earth can be seen from hundreds of miles away. Jared Isaacman, a billionaire and private astronaut from the U.S., successfully carried out the world's first private spacewalk.
Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, Earth sure looks like a perfect world.
Isaacman was outside the capsule for around 10 minutes. After he returned, SpaceX engineer Sarah Gillis took her turn and successfully conducted her mission. The team of 4 private astronauts produced successful results after 2 years of preparation. Their mission was to test new spacesuits for their performance in order to protect astronauts. Last May, Jared Isaacman said that SpaceX is aware that it would need extravehicular activity or EVA suits if it is to realize the long-term dream of populating another planet someday. The mission was personally funded by Isaacman, who, according to Forbes, has a net worth of $1.9 billion. After establishing himself as a renowned pilot and adventurer, Isaacman conducted the first all-civilian mission to orbit the Earth, launched by SpaceX 3 years ago. All eyes are on billionaire Isaacman's next step, who has opened up a new era of private space development along with Elon Musk. Tae-young, Arirang News.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris continues to widen her lead over former President Donald Trump in the latest poll after their first TV matchup. While Trump claims he won the debate, he says he won't debate Harris again before the November presidential election. Lee Seung-jae reports.
According to a CNN flash poll that followed Tuesday's televised debate in Philadelphia, 63% of registered voters felt Vice President Kamala Harris performed better than former President Donald Trump. And the Democratic presidential candidate's performance helped boost her support, as another poll showed that she had widened her lead over Trump. In a new Reuters Ipsos survey conducted between Tuesday and Thursday, Harris garnered 47% support compared to Trump's 42%, giving her a 5 percentage point lead over the former president. The latest poll asked 3,095 people, with 1,405 of them registered voters. In a similar survey last month, 45% of people surveyed preferred Harris compared to 41% of the respondents who picked Trump. While the majority in the CNN flash poll showed that Harris performed better than Trump during Tuesday's debate, the former president disagreed and claimed that he won the debate. Trump also said he won't debate Harris again. Taking to his social media platform Truth Social on Thursday, Trump said the first words out of a prizefighter who loses a fight is "I want a rematch." The Harris camp had called for a second debate, as President Joe Biden and Trump had agreed to 2 debates for the elections. Meanwhile, Trump and his running mate J.D. Vance's false claims of Haitian immigrants taking people's pets and eating them have led to increasing fear among the immigrants of being targeted. The City Hall in Springfield, Ohio, the city that was put in the spotlight due to those claims, temporarily closed on Thursday amid bomb threats. The threats also come as an online Haitian media outlet out of Springfield warned its residents of threats being issued at several schools with Haitian children. The city has seen a large inflow of Haitian immigrants in recent years due to its low cost of living and job opportunities. 이승재, Arirang News.
The death toll from Asia's most powerful storm this year continues to rise, surpassing 200 in Southeast Asia. Our Lee Soo-jin reports.
Typhoon Yagi continues to leave destruction in its wake with hundreds dead across Asia. According to global news agency AFP, the number of deaths in Vietnam, which has been hit the hardest, has gone up to 226 as of Thursday. But the death toll is expected to rise as 104 people are missing and 800 are injured. The confirmed deaths in Southeast Asia have now risen to over 270. Typhoon Yagi is Asia's most powerful storm so far this year, with wind speeds that reach more than 200 kilometers per hour. It has devastated more than 140,000 homes across 26 provinces in Vietnam, according to UNICEF. Vietnam's agriculture ministry also said the high water levels damaged more than 250,000 hectares of crops and killed large numbers of livestock.
My crops are all ruined. My rice field was almost ready for harvesting, but now it is all destroyed. All the crops are gone, so I lost everything.
While Vietnam has faced the worst of the typhoon, other countries such as the Philippines, Laos, Thailand, and Myanmar have also been battling heavy rains, strong winds, and landslides caused by the storm. Before hitting Vietnam, Typhoon Yagi devastated the Chinese island of Hainan, a popular tourist destination, after leaving at least 20 people dead in the Philippines. Although the typhoon has been downgraded to a tropical depression since striking northern Vietnam, it is still wreaking havoc with heavy rain. Myanmar's fire service said that 17 bodies have been found in the Mandalay region, located in the center of the country since Wednesday, with more than 53,000 people displaced. But due to ongoing civil war, proper search and rescue operations are not being carried out, meaning that the actual scale of the damage may be greater. Floods and landslides in northern province of Thailand have also resulted in 9 deaths, with concerns about similar damage also growing in Laos. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.
Heavy and strong rain will be concentrated in the northern parts of Gyeonggi-do and Gangwon-do provinces. Rain will continue until tomorrow afternoon in these areas. Up to 80 millimeters of rain is predicted by the end of today and up to 60 by tomorrow. By tomorrow morning, very heavy rain of 30 millimeters per hour will be accompanied by gusty winds and lightning. Heavy rain of 20 millimeters per hour is expected in other areas too, so you should be careful. Tomorrow, most areas will start off in the mid-20s. Daily highs will move up to 29 in Seoul, Daejeon and Jeju, 32 degrees. It will rain in areas on the East Coast, and showers will pass through the rest of the country on Sunday and Monday. It will gradually clear up from the day of Chuseok on Tuesday, and you will be able to see the full moon through the clouds in most parts of the country. In Seoul, a full moon will be visible at 6:17 p.m. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
That's all we have for today. Thank you for watching. For those in South Korea, enjoy your Chuseok holiday. Arirang News will be back on Monday at noon. Goodbye.
진짜 한국에선 어떻게 먹는지 알려줄까?
K-바비큐? 신김치랑 먹어야지.
치킨? 치맥 페스티벌은 처음이지?
김치? 종류만큼 먹는 법도 가지각색.
김밥? 시장에선, 산에선, 바다에선 이렇게.
국밥? 취향 따라, 입맛 따라.